Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysum. I am super excited to continue this new series on the greatest questions in web handling. In this clip, I will try to give a simple answer to the simple question, what is the best winder curve? This is a great question. First, your choice of winder settings for the TNTs can easily affect waste, delay, and customer complaint in the form of winding defects. Second, the question has wide application in web handling. Almost all modern winders have the capability to run curves in their PLC programs. Third, it is not easy to give a universal answer to that simple question. In many ways, it is more complicated than the question on best tension that we answered in episode Web20163c. The reason, as we will see, is that the best curve depends on which defect you are trying to avoid. There are many winding defects. For our answer, we will start simple, and that may be good enough for many. Then we will add a bit of complexity to give a better, more complete answer. We will finish with a set of additional references for those who wish to know even more. Let's get started. The short answer to which type of curve is quite simple. Do not use taper. Taper is an old school, confusing, and limiting curve that was invented long before modern controls that are common on modern winders. Episodes Web201.43a through c cover this in much more detail, so we don't need to repeat that here. Instead, we use the simple two-point method. Simple because the operator sets a starting value to avoid certain winding defects, and an ending value to avoid other winding defects. A longer but much better answer depends on the operator or engineer knowing just three things. Which defect are they trying to avoid? Does that defect favor the core or the outside? Is that defect a tight or a loose defect? Knowing just those three things is the strategy that determines which winder settings are best. However, to know defects well is something that you have to go to school on. That is because many defects are complicated and counterintuitive. For example, there are 3 types of core crush. 2 are tight defects, and 1 is a loose defect. Worse yet, there are at least 5 different defects that go by the name of telescope, and only one of those is responsive to taper. Finding the best winder curve is not rocket science, but it does require a bit of homework. First, you need to have calibrated curves for the TNT controls. Otherwise, your work may not be reliable or translatable between winding machines. Second, you must know the precise defect you are trying to avoid. Here, I do not simply mean core crush, telescope, or wrinkle. I mean which type of core crush, which type of telescope, and which type of wrinkle. Also, keep in mind that many winding defects are simply not sensitive to winder settings. They are related to web quality, or machine design, or machine maintenance. Third, Once you know your machine and defect well, then you can enter the best settings for starting and ending tensions and nip and torque into your machine. Fourth, it can be more complicated if you have more than one defect at a time, particularly if one is a tight defect and the other is a loose defect. To make progress in those cases, we usually need to start looking at web quality as well as economics. This is an area well covered in courses such as my award-winning and trademarked Web101 school that has been taken by about 5,000 students. Alternatively, there are several books on the subject. Thank you so very much for allowing me to share my thoughts on great questions in web handling, such as this one on winder curves. Let me know what questions you might have in the comment section below. Please like and share if you found something interesting or useful. See you next time.